People often ask me, is the gaming industry alive and well? Are resellers literally ruining this this industry? It's a good question. Very good question. And to be honest, I have some answers. Not a lot. I'm not going to speak on anyone else, but I have some answers, right? But first of all, welcome to the Man Cave. It's your boy Tiago. And I wanted to basically take a moment to discuss some of the questions I've gotten in my comments regarding resellers. Now, everyone knows by now, if you've seen my videos, that I am a reseller. I do have a store on eBay. Um, and I, often will go out and do some hunts, whether it's your local Goodwills, yard sales, um, you know, uh, people that I may meet, people from work. Um, you know, I always, always am open to picking up the goodies, right? Now, obviously, the problem that a lot of people are having isn't the fact that, you might go out there and you might buy yourself a couple of things to sell, you know what I mean? And, make profit because that's the whole point of, reselling. That's not the problem. The problem is people are literally tired of seeing others get smoked when it comes to some of the things that they're picking up, some of the things that they're buying. Um, I'll give you a perfect example, okay? Um, Everything that is on here right now, I got not that long ago, okay? Excellent prices, right? But keep in mind that when I say excellent prices, what I mean by that is that I paid what the hell there was, what was on there. If they sold a Switch to me for $80, that's what I paid is $80. If a game was, $3, that's what I paid. If it was $5 or $6, that's what I paid. You know what I mean? I don't sit there and try to take, I've seen it happen right in front of me where, somebody will go, I'll tell you what. I went to a house. This lady, her kid had just gotten married, and she was actually just trying to get rid of some of the stuff that he had. And there was a bunch of games, a bunch of consoles, a bunch of accessories. They're just trying to get rid of everything. And the person who was there before me, so when I got there, he was trying to go back and forth. Hey, would you take this? Would you take that? Making her offer after offer after offer. And the thing that tripped me out about it was that the offer wasn't even fair. Yeah, I mean, he had a big, big box of probably 45 to 50 games. And this guy was offering 30, $35, kept on telling this lady how, these games are not, games that are being sought out for. Nobody's really looking for them. Just bold-faced lying out of his ass, telling this poor lady that, these things were basically cheap. They were just cheap games, right? And I just sat there and I waited because I wanted to wait my turn to speak, to this lady. Hopefully, she wasn't going to buy the buffoonery that this guy was pitching. And, lucky enough for me, she didn't. She declined his offer. He ended up saying, "Oh, I'll be back if anything, my offer stands." She looked at me with this look like, who does this guy think he is? You know what I mean? Like I was actually going to fall for that nonsense. Now, let me tell you something. The funny thing is that this lady, even though the stuff that she was getting rid of was her son's stuff, she actually owned a game store. And she closed it down, due to COVID. She closed it down. And, she ended up just putting everything in their basement, stuff in her garage. And, she knew exactly what everything in that fucking pile was worth. You know what I mean? We talked for a little bit, you know what I mean? And, we made a deal, $150, for everything. And, obviously when, I was asking, about prices because we were both going back and forth, price charting everything. There was some bangers in there. There was a couple of games that were, probably close to $90 to $100. And she looked at me and said, "No, take the whole box, 150. This is for your honesty." And the respect that I showed when I was talking to her. I wasn't looking at a female like a female doesn't know how to fucking buy video games, right? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of females that don't give a shit about video games, but there's a lot of females that do. You know what I mean? And again, this comes from that thought that there's men out there who will go to a, I guess, anyone's little garage sale and see a lady sitting in a chair selling something and assume she ain't going to know nothing about video games. So I'm going to offer her $5 for about $200 worth of video games. And I will tell you this, I've seen that very same type of sale, you know what I mean, on this platform where others, not going to say no names, you know what I mean, have done that shit. And to be honest with you, I'm not one to basically hate on anybody or, sit there and be like, oh, you guys are taking advantage of people, yada, 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 because you know what? I'm not going to ever shit on anyone's hustle. Nobody. Because I don't expect them to ever do that to me. And the thing that trips me out the most about this is that, the more that, I do what I do, people sit there and they ask that one bold question. You know what I mean? Are you sitting there buying these games at $2 or $3 a pop and selling them for 50? No, absolutely not. If you go to my channel, Tiago's Gamers Club, okay, for on eBay, you know what I mean, and you go and you check what I have there, I might have, out of thousands of games that I have on there, I may have a handful of games, you know what I mean, that might be at the $50, $60, $70 mark. Now, keep in mind, those are bangers, right? The big games, you know what I mean? One that I just put on, literally just put on in my store, you know what I mean, is a sealed copy of Pokemon, Heart Gold. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Pokemon. I'm sorry, guys, I'm not a Pokemon fan. But, this right here, completely sealed, brand new, beautiful, the not for resale. Yeah, I mean, you know how much this thing is selling? Crazy. You know what I mean? Crazy. Did I know that game sold for that much? Hell no. You know what I mean? But, it's super expensive. That's about $799. You know what I mean? Halo, Platinum Hits. You know what I mean? This is the Combat Evolved, completely sealed, brand new, sealed. This is another one, almost a $90 game. You know what I mean? Again, there are games out there that you're going to find that's going to be heavy. And unfortunately, you're not gonna, if you can make $1 on those games, especially sealed, of course you're gonna make $1 on them games. But a game that is used, a game that is open, a game that has been, put into a console, no. Bring it down, $15, you know what I mean? The game might be worth 30, sell it for 15. I'm telling you guys, you know what I mean? There's money to be made in the resale business. You don't need to be greedy. You definitely don't know you should never, God, and I see this a lot on this platform. You don't sit there, man, and find some shit, a box of whatever it is and pay $20 and haul ass and then make a video saying, boo, ha, ha, ha. You know what I mean? I ended up picking up this box for $20 and I have about $2,000 worth of stuff in it because I think that's fucked up. And I will tell you, there are a couple of people out there, a couple of people on YouTube right now that I know, that I've watched their channels, that I've actually seen them buy something, not know what it's actually worth, find out that they're actually worth a lot of money, and go back the very next day and give them a little bit more. Now that is respect. That is how you do business. And that is how you get, people who will respect you and say, hey, I like this guy. He's always honest. He will never cheat me out of my money. You know what I'm saying? He's fair. You know what I mean? These are the things that, basically I like to look at, right? The way that I like to do business. But are resellers out there literally smoking people? Hell yeah. I see it every day. I see it every day. They go into a fucking thrift shop and literally try to say, hey, $3.50 for a game is too much. Can I pay $1, $1.50, $1.20? Listen, if you don't want to pay the money that is there for $3.50, bro, get your ass going somewhere else and go somewhere where you can be happy picking up games and robbing people left and right, and stop playing that damn game that you have to sit there and pay $1, $2, $3 to sell the bitch on eBay for 60. Trust me when I tell you guys, I've been doing this shit for a long time, and there's some bangers, don't get me wrong. There's some games that, you'll see at comps where they'll say, the game is only worth $6. Yeah, I mean, because it always go by the last sold comps. You know what I mean? It always says, okay, if there's 500 of those games online and all 500 are selling for $20, and, out of 500, 20 of them sell for $6, what do you think they're going to put down? They're going to say that the game is worth $6. Now, the game may be worth a little bit more than $6. Yeah, I mean, so you put it up there. And keep in mind, I also understand that eBay charges their fees. So, yeah, if you pick up a $10 game, you're going to want to sell it for $15 just to cover the fees, just to make sure that you're not losing any money, because the purpose of reselling is not to lose. It is obviously to make a profit. But be honest about it. Be honest about what you do. Be honest about the business. Be honest about your pickups. Yeah, I mean, I don't have, this luxury store with all these lights and crazy. You literally, when you come in and I welcome you to the man cave, you're coming into what you see, and this is my place. This is my place. I actually made some changes. I mean, I had to clean up. You know what I mean? The games are starting to get a little bit crazy, but as you can see, I made some changes. Games everywhere. You know what I mean? Consoles everywhere. You know what I mean? It's a little much, but hear me out. Hear me out. You know what I mean? I love what I do. I love the pickups. I love stuff like this. You know what I mean? I love, picking up a lot of the DC figures, a lot of these, bigger DC figures. I love to pick up stuff like this, your basic little knickknacks, something like this, which is pretty cool. You know what I mean? Also in my store, you know what I mean? But all of this stuff like this, you know what I mean? It's just stuff that when you're out there, you're visiting your local, thrift shops or Goodwill or whatever, you have in your area. You know what I mean? These are things that you can pick up for good money. You know what I mean? Cheap, good money. And then you can make, a few dollars on top if you sell it. Yeah, I mean, my store isn't, I didn't build my store the way that I did to make millions and millions of dollars. I made basically the way I built my store was to be able to share the nostalgia that I feel when I see all of this shit that I got going on right here. Actually, this looks pretty cool. The LA Noir. I'm sorry, man. I jump off of shit. Yeah, I don't know, man. My mind just goes back and forth. But anyways, the way that I look at things is very simple. I want everyone, and I say this in every one of my videos, the reason why I do what I do is to bring you guys along with me on a journey on picking up video games, and not necessarily going into a thrift shop, and you seeing me walk around and picking at stuff and talking to myself and, looking all crazy. And, a lot of people don't want to be recorded. So, I go and I do my buys and I bring you guys to my home. You know what I mean? I'm always, able to show you what I got. You know what I mean? And I'm going to give you another example. I think it's fair, because I don't think it's fair that I personally, I'm not going to attack resellers because I'm a reseller, but I am going to give you a perfect example of how sometimes resellers also lose. You know what I mean? So this was a nice little pickup right here, right? I picked this up a few days ago. I spent probably about a week picking up, games. But, I have been able to basically get all of these cleaned out. They're all clean. Some of the cases, like this one here, I had to basically replace the case, PS2 game. I'm waiting on getting the cover arts for it. But, I got another one over there for the Nintendo Wii. But, there was some that were pretty bad, right? And you know what? Keep this in mind because I'm going to say this really quick. I am a baby on this platform. Okay? A baby. 31 subscribers. Not even enough, right? I do want to give a shout out to XYAB, who I've been able to order and buy some cases. These cases that I have, these cases, and they basically have everything you need, everything you possibly need. If you're a reseller, if you have a business, small business, so go check out their website, guys. I mean, if you're looking to replace some cases and I mean they got tons of stuff. Go check them out. Good prices. You know what I mean? And you never want to sell anybody, a game in a shitty ass case. So, we could go from there. But anyways, that being said, so these games I was able to test them, clean them up, make them look good, right? But there's always that one chance that you come across a game that looks like this. Now you see that ring around that disc? See if you can see it, but you see it right there? You see that right there? No good. Now, I was actually excited about that game because I don't have it. And it was the game Bolt. And I normally, if the disc is bad, I always keep the cover art. I keep, it even came with the manual. So I keep those, those because obviously, if I do come across a copy of this game, I already have the cover art and stuff like that, just in case I have, for some reason I find it and it's loose. You know what I mean? Another game, let me see if I can open this up really quick. Which, again, another game I don't have. But look at this, guys. Look at that right there. See it? Look at this. Look at that ring. Driver. I don't have this game. Has manuals. And to be fair, guys, and this is just to be fair, both those games were about $5.48 a piece, right? Not a lot of money, but now that's a loss. It's a $6 loss for me, okay? Because when they say that all of this is good, and you don't have a moment to really just double check everything, and I mean, I've made purchases where there are 40, 50 games, and then out of the 40, 50, anywhere from 10 to 15 games, there probably be like 7 of them that are pretty bad shape, and even some that are missing the games itself. And it happens. So from a reseller point of view, I just lost money, right? So a lot of people will say, well, that happens, right? Sure. That's the point. That's the point I'm trying to get to, right? It does happen. And it happens a lot more frequently than you think. You know what I mean? Does that mean that resellers should pump up their prices? Absolutely not. But does that mean that the resellers, should, put a little bit, maybe $1 or $2 more on a game, where it's going to cover, obviously the cost that they're putting on there will cover the cost of what eBay will charge them, along with the shipping that you have to pay for, and then enough to give you $2 or $3 on top. Again, numbers are numbers, man, and you can play with a lot of it. Again, I'm talking about, games that are $5, $6, $7, $15, $20. You know what I mean? Where you have that chance to, manipulate the cost a little bit. And then when you're ready to put it online, you have like a fair, you know what I mean? Cost for those out there who are looking for the game. Again, not trying to make an excuse, but believe it or not, stuff like this happens a lot more than you think. And as a reseller, sometimes that'll bite you in the butt a little bit. You know what I mean? Especially if it's a lot of games. But this is something here that I've spent, some time, cleaning up and doing things to prepare them to be either sold or to prepare them to be put into my collection. Because I do like to collect, you know what I mean? But, guys, it's, the question of whether or not physical media is still alive. Yes, it is. I believe it. I don't think there's ever going to be a point where games are only going to be digital. But for me, even now, all of this here going all the way over there. Let me see where I'm at. All the way over there, coming all the way. You know what I'm saying? All the way to this corner over here. And then you got some right here, some Xbox stuff right here, and then three more little stacks of PS3 games. You know what I mean? All of these games, first of all, they're all in my collection. Two, you know what I mean? This is all physical media, man. And, do I love being able to grab, a game and look at that cover art? I'll give you a perfect example. Let me see one that I just picked up that I think is pretty insane. Holy shit, I got a ton of games. You know what? Perfect example. I'll give it to you. This game right here. Don't know what it is. I know it looks like a little, sort of a cop game, right? Made by Rockstar Games. Obviously, you know that Rockstar Games put out some dope ass games. But when you're going into the physical media, you get to, grab a game and look at your game and say, oh, this is what this game is. It has a breakdown of what the game is, right? Digital media don't. You have to read everything on Google. You got to hope that people don't lie. They give you a good, sort of a good idea of what each game is. The gameplay, is it good? Is it bad? Everybody's a fucking critic. You know how that works. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, when you can grab a case, look at the back of it and say, oh, this is what this game is. It's interesting. I want to play it. How much more do you want, right? So is physical media dead? No. Are resellers messing up the gaming industry? I don't think so. Can they cut the shit out that they do when they pick up a game, for, $10 and sell it for $60? Probably. But as long as there's people out there who are willing to pay the $60, they're going to continue to sell it for $60. You know what I mean? And, again, I can't be mad at a reseller for doing that because why would I be? Right? If I can pick up, a game and sell a game that I paid $5 for and sell it for $70, $80 and actually get the $70 or $80, why the hell would I change that? You know what I mean? Let's be honest. You know what I mean? Come on, guys. Why would you want digital when you can look at, something like that gives you all the breakdown of the game? Yeah, I mean, I get that people, they're the whole, maybe resellers use that as a selling point, get this, and pick up that. And because if you don't, physical media is going to disappear and you'll never have a chance to own it. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. If you're a gamer and you want to play games, go play games. You know what I mean? Can you buy physical media and hold on to it? Yes, absolutely. You know what I mean? Are they collectible? Hell yeah. Would I rather have digital versus, physical? Definitely physical. You know what I mean? And like I said, I'm the type of person, I want to see this in my collection. So for me, physical media is where it's at. Like I said, do I think that the resellers are fucking that up? No, no, not at all. Can they make things a little more affordable? Sure, sure. Have some of them gone overboard? Absolutely. You know what I mean? But again, it's not. I'm not going to knock anybody's hustle, but at the end of the day, you know what I mean. People don't think the same. I don't think like them. They don't think like me. I'm one who likes to share. I'm one to, I want you guys to be able to see what I do, the type of work that I do, and the fun that, when I see all of this shit's exciting. All of this is exciting to me. Plain, simple, exciting to me. You know what I mean? So, for me, all of this that you see, everything that you're seeing, guys, everything that you're looking at right now that I see every day is just exciting to me. You know what I mean? So, guys, no, physical media, not dead. No, I don't think resellers are hurting the gaming industry, because at the end of the day, if you don't want to buy something because it's too expensive, don't buy it. Chances are that there's that same very game on another platform or from another reseller that you're going to buy it 20, 25, $30 cheaper. You know what I mean? Keep in mind that I am one to be completely honest and very transparent. If I have a game that I have for $30 because it's, in excellent condition, no scratches, the case is beautiful, everything is minty condition, I have it for 30, and I know that somebody else is selling it for 20, and I could save somebody $10, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'll save that person $10. Now, I mean, if I feel like, I want to do somebody a solid, I will take that $10, I'll eat the $10, and I'll sell them the game for 20. So again, these are things that you have to look at as a reseller and as a business person, right? But again, all the questions that I've gotten, regarding cost, regarding, my inventory, how much it's costed me a lot, a lot. Yeah, I mean, but again, most of this stuff that I own is my collectibles. It's my collection. So again, guys, the gaming industry is not dead. Yeah, I mean, resellers, from one reseller to another, as the great Flossie Carter would say, calm down. Calm down. There is room for everyone in this industry because games are everywhere. And, if you're one of those people out there who want to get into reselling, I would definitely tell you to do it because you can make money. You know what I mean? And it could be a little side hustle. You don't have to make millions. You know what I'm saying? But I know everybody wants to be a millionaire, right? Everybody want that money. You know what I mean? So listen, I want the nostalgia. Money's okay, but I want that nostalgic feeling. You know what I'm saying? And my place of Zen, which is the man cave, right? And again, you know what I mean? This is how it is. This is how it is. So guys, no, man. The industry is beautiful. It's alive and well. You know what I mean? Yes, there's some shitty ass resellers and there's some great resellers. And there's some liars and there's some people who are truthful. You know what I mean? You guys have to make that decision of who those people are and whether or not you guys want to continue to support them. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I don't flame anybody. I don't knock nobody's hustle. I'm a businessman, but I'm a clean, clear, transparent, respectful, and honest businessman. And at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Again, a lot of my games range from $12.99, to some of my bigger bangers like that Pokemon game at $700. So again, the majority of what I have is going to be, within that $10 to $20 range. And I would probably have to revisit most of them because these are games that I put on many years, like 2 years ago. I'll say like 2 years ago. And I have to revisit it to change the prices because most likely some of them have even gone up or have gone down. Yeah, I mean, but that being said, guys, enough of my ranting. I got some video games to take care of, and some games that I actually want to try out, which is this guy. And that's on the PS3. And, again, another night, you know what I mean, for me to, take a few hours to actually do some gaming, and obviously clean up some discs and try them all out. So, yeah, guys, as I always say, like, share, subscribe, guys. Keep in mind, I do giveaways, and if you guys subscribe, I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers, guys. I'm not even asking for a lot. Yeah, I mean, so come on, guys, let's make this happen. You know what I mean? Come on. I've seen worse channels get better views than me. Shit. You know what I mean? I'm starting to think you guys just don't like me. You know what I mean? I thought I was pretty cool. You know what I mean? But yeah, keep in mind, guys, love, care for one another. You know what I'm saying? Take care of each other, guys, because everybody knows in the world today, especially in the dumb shit that's going on, in the world today, you know what I'm saying? Things need to change, and you guys got to take care of each other. You know what I mean? And as always, guys, I feel it deep in my heart. I feel it. I live it every day. You know what I mean? Keep in mind, man, God is good, guys. God is good. And as always, guys, keep your game on.